Welcome to Thursday's episode. I feel like I have not talked to everybody in so long because last week was what I'm calling an evergreen episode, which technically the entire catalog of the podcast is evergreen. So lots of podcasts are very timely. So why am I explaining like industry shit? Like nobody cares, Renee. All I'm saying is lots of people who start listening to the podcast, they like look for episodes throughout the entire catalog. It's not like people only listen to the latest episode, if that makes sense. But for solo episodes, I wanted to start building a folder of evergreen episodes about specific topics, so that in the event that I'm sick, I'm away, I can't record for whatever reason, I have those saved. So I started to do it last year, which was like a couple weeks ago. I had a few of them saved. And so because Milo was home this past week, because the frickin' school board hates us, and I don't know. I keep like sounding so dramatic about how long kids were off school, but I'm sure it's that amount of time every single year, because technically they went to school up until the Friday before Christmas, and like Christmas Eve was on a Saturday, but I went to my mom's early, so it felt like extra long. Also just being like totally out of routine. Like I love being at my mom's, but it's also like very out of routine. It starts to wear on me and I just want to be home. And then we were home for a week with my husband, obviously going to work. So I was just home with Milo trying to keep us busy. So I used one of those evergreen episodes last week. It was super popular. So I'm going to continue recording those. I like to have a guide for those kinds of episodes. So for last week's, it was on a chapter of a book that I absolutely love called To Have and to Hold by Molly Millwood. If you haven't read that book, like highly recommend. But anyways, this is just a regular old solo where I'm recording it. Today is Monday. It'll be out on Thursday. The reason I'm recording today, like I'm exhausted. So the week before I get my period, I am, first of all, like rage-tastic, and I don't sleep. So like that's a good combination, isn't it? Let's make Renee ragey, super irritable, and also let's not let her sleep. So what happens is, and I think it has to do with hormones, I fall asleep totally fine, like everything's normal, go to bed, read my Kindle, fall asleep right away. And then I wake up at like 1:30 in the morning, cannot fall back asleep. I feel like I've talked about this before. So anyways, that happened last night and the night before. Usually happens like 3 or 4 nights in a row and then it stops. Like hormones literally affect everything. Like, do you remember being pregnant, if you were ever pregnant? Any little symptom that you had and you went to go Google, it was like caused by hormones. Yet like we're not taught anything about hormones, and nobody ever has like a focus on hormone health. You know what I mean? It's just like, let's mask the symptoms. Let's just like take drugs to mask the symptoms. But like, what's going on with my hormones? All that to say is, I'll probably make an appointment in Oakville. There's this clinic that specializes in hormones. It's like an OBGYN run clinic, and my mom told me about it. So I'll probably make an appointment there and be like, these are my symptoms. What can I do? Because if I went on birth control, for example, I know it would totally level everything out because that's what it does. But I don't want to be on birth control. When I started trying to take like the mini pill when Milo was born, I was just like spotting all the time. And I was like, I don't want to do that. But I mean, right now I have crazy ovulation pain, crazy cramping pain, super heavy periods. I don't sleep the week before my period. I'm like a rage monster. So like I want to do something. So anywho's, I will keep you guys posted on that. I just took a drink. So deal with it. One thing I want to get off my chest before I get into other topics that you saw in the episode title and in the show notes. We were driving to the mall yesterday, and like this is an ongoing issue. Like I hate being a passenger in a car. Hate it. Like I want to drive. My husband, and like let me know if you feel the exact same way. When you're a passenger, you're not in the mind of the driver. So like you don't know that they are anticipating braking. Do you know what I mean? So all I'm going off of is what the car feels like. Like, do I feel like you're starting to brake? Have you put your foot on the brake? I don't know what you're thinking. Did you see the car ahead of us, like put his red light, like brake lights on? I don't know. And my husband likes to wait until the last minute to start to slow down the car. So like, let's say you're going up to a red light. The cars in front of you all start putting on like brake lights, and I'm not feeling the car start to stop. And so I'm like, brace myself. And he's like, oh my God, relax. Like, but I don't know that you saw it and that you're going to press on the brake eventually. Like just put, as soon as it flashes red in front of us, fucking put your foot on the brake so that I can just like not have like a rise in cortisol throughout my body, like adrenaline rush 45 times on the way to the mall. Just put your foot on the brake as soon as the person in front of us brakes. Okay. I had to get that off my chest. Like it drives me nuts. Okay. So we have had major drama with regard to Milo opening doors. You might think like, wow, what a great, like reaching a developmental milestone, like opening doors, hooray. And like, I should have known that this day was going to come because like, how long can someone go in their life without understanding how to open certain doors, you know? So at my mom's house over the holidays, my mom's like the bedroom that Milo sleeps in, it's a sliding door. And it's kind of sticky. You have to like really know what you're doing to open it up. So for Milo, like he never even would try to open it. It was just like, oh, the door is closed. That's it. So there's also a door from like the living room to where the bedrooms and the TV room are. It's a sliding door, which is kind of really nice. Like when, for example, my sister and Mikey were there, they were staying in my parents' bedroom. So when Poppy would go to bed, let's say there's everybody in the living room, you can just like close that sliding door, which is like an extra barrier for sound to the bedrooms where people are sleeping. So I guess one day Milo was trying to get through that door. It was closed and my mom was in the living room and she was like, just slide it open, like slide it open. And he was having trouble. So she went and taught him how to open the door. Like, I get it. Like, oh, what a nice grandmother. But also, like, we can't go visit you anymore. Thanks for teaching him how to open his bedroom door at night. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. So like one night I go to put Milo to bed. He like goes to bed. I get into my bed. I'm laying there and it's like 10 o'clock because like bedtime was a struggle that night. And he like walks into the room. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, how did you? He's like, Sisu taught me to open the door. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, she can come deal with this then because this is not okay. So that was a whole thing. And I was like, oh my God, are we going to have to get like a lock for the door, like on the outside? Because here's the thing. And I know some people are against locks. Like one of my best friends is against like using a lock on her daughter's door. And I'm like, sure, like I get it. For me, I don't care. And I'll tell you why. When they're in a crib and they are like 2.5, standing up, like they're literally locked in that crib. So once you put a lock on the door, you're literally just expanding their sleep area to the bedroom now. And for me, it's like a safety thing. Like now that he's a little bit older, it's not as big of a deal because I know he'll just go right to my husband, like where my husband sleeps. Newsflash, if you're just tuning in, like this is your first episode, my husband and I don't sleep in the same bed. He'll go right into my husband's room or he'll come see me. So it's not as scary as it was before, where I was nervous he would fall down the stairs because his room is right at the top of the staircase. He would walk out in the middle of the night and like fall down the stairs. Also, like he has never known being able to open the door. So now it's just like this like new wild thing because we had one of those, it's like a little like clamp thing that you put on the inside knob and it turns over the actual doorknob, and so they can't like grip the doorknob to open it. He figured out how to open it like just the other night out of nowhere. He's never even tried. So I don't know what kind of fucking like MacGyver mood he was in. My husband and I are downstairs. We finally like settle in, start our show. We're like, yeah, let's start White Lotus tonight. Like everybody's been talking about it. Finally, we're going to relax. The holidays are over. Like, ugh. And Milo fucking comes walking down the stairs. My heart sank into my butt because I was like, is this a ghost? Like how it was so creepy. Like just like down like where the stairs are in the front entrance is like pitch black and he just like emerges from the darkness. I was like, oh my God. And he just like casually, he's like, I opened the door. I know how to open the door now. And he comes and just like sits with us on the couch. Like he's ready to just like crack open a soda and start watching TV with us. I was like, what is happening? And we didn't even know what to do. We were like, Milo, you know, it's bedtime, right? Like we were like, I don't even know how to address this situation. And he was like, I don't want to be in my room. I don't want to be in my room. This is always, and like one thing that my mom and I discovered over the holidays is like, he gets fixated on one line, like one thing. And like, that's all he says over and over. And like, he is stubborn on that one thing and like won't budge. So that night it was like, I don't want to go in my room. I don't want to be in my room. I don't want to be in my room. I don't like my room. I don't like my room. And then at my mom's house, we realized one morning it was, I don't want to leave. Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then it's almost like eventually he does want to do the thing that we're talking about. For example, like go to bed or like leave the house with me. But he's like looking for an out. So you try different things and he's like stubborn. And then the example at my mom's house, my mom was like, oh, do you want to just go in your pajamas? Like stay in your pajamas today? And he was like, yeah, let's go. And it's like, really? Like, that's not what it was. You just are tired. Like, and you do want to go. Like, you do want to go. You're just being stubborn and you get stuck on this one thing. And it was the same with that night. Like, my husband was like, do you want Bubby to like lay down with you? And he was like, yeah, let's go. And so we brought him upstairs with Bubbles. Sorry, Bubbles. And he just like passed out right away. And so the second night, we've only dealt with this for 2 nights now, which was last night. We did the same thing. He knew that he was going to go to bed with Bubbles. He was fine with it. He was exhausted. And I explained to him, like, you can't open the door because Bubbles will run downstairs and he might get hurt because the stairs are dark. So if you need something, you need anything, like you tell mommy and you just like call for us and we will come up. And he was like, okay. Like, so last night was totally fine, but we will see how it goes. My husband, and this is like so sad because obviously it's like this huge new exciting thing. Like he can open his bedroom door. Like he has like agency to be able to get up and leave his room, which he's never had before. So my husband ordered these different door handle things from Amazon. We didn't think it would be a big deal to just like replace it. And we went to go put it on and he lost his goddamn mind. He was so upset. He was like, I don't want that on there. And I felt for him because I was like he finally has this like independence to be able to leave his room, and now we're going to take it away again. So we're going to just deal with it. And my husband was like, what the fuck do people do who like don't put locks on the doors? Like, how do they keep their kids in their rooms? And so I texted my friend who doesn't use a lock, and I know that she is against it. And I was like, how do you keep her in her room? And she sends me a photo of her little girl, like butt naked, or is it buck naked or butt? Anyways, laying on the couch with like this like paper crown on at like 9:15 at night, just like watching TV. And she's like, great question. So I was like, oh, okay. So everyone is dealing with the same kind of shit. So anyways, that's where we're at with the locks. I don't even know why I started. Oh yeah, because it's on my list. Okay, so, oh yes, the shaving of the crotch. Okay. We're going to talk about pubic hair again, which kind of like this is a nice transition from Tuesday's episode, which was all about like labias, vulvas, vaginas, pubic hair. Like if you haven't listened to it, go listen. It's so good. I'm going to take a drink now. Sorry for announcing it, but I don't know what else to do because it's awkward. Okay. So the other day, like every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, I will use like an electric razor and shave. And I like explain, I don't know, I like told my husband, I was like, oh, just shave my crotch or like whatever, like I just tell him everything. And he's like, cool. And I was like, I don't even like fully shaving. Like, I don't even like the way it feels, but like, I don't like it to be like so overgrown either. There's like a happy medium. And so I was like, I don't know how to not shave everything off. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I can style my pubic hair. And so I'm explaining this to him and he's just like staring at me. And he was like, maybe you could Dyson Airwrap it. Like, he's so funny. And I was like, like, that's a good idea. But seriously, how do you, and I guess you have to go get it done by someone. It's not like I can like sit there and like, oh, I'm just going to take, like an inch off here and like snip. Like, can you go somewhere and be like, can you just like half take it off? Do you know what I mean? I would wax like the bikini line. I don't have a ton of hair in the bikini line area. But like for our trip, for example, we're going on a trip in February to like a hot destination. And so I'll be in bathing suits all day, every day. So I definitely want to get waxed in like the bikini line area. But ideally I would just like no hair on the bikini line area and then just like medium, like short length hair for the rest, I don't like it to be taken all off, but I don't know how to not do that. I just realized, how when men cut their hair and there's like different levels of the shaver so that you can go right against their head, but it keeps like a certain length of hair? I just realized that. So there you go. I answered my own question. It's not dangerous either. You're not going to like, zip your labia off. So anyways, now that I have this newfound information that this is why I love the podcast and I love solo episodes, because I've been racking my brain over this for the last little while and just talking through it with you guys, well, in my office by myself, I come to the conclusion. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like therapeutic. Anywho, so what else? Let's talk a little bit about how it's frowned upon to not be relatable. Like, you're supposed to be relatable to every single person on the internet. Otherwise, it's bad and you're bad. Just like the last few things that I've posted, I get the most bizarre comments that are like it's like a lighthearted joke. The one I'm talking about right now is where I was holding the Nintendo Switch to my ear and I was like, oh, calling a nanny after having to parent my own child 24/7 for 2 weeks. Like, haha, like it's a fucking joke. I'm actually not calling a nanny. It's a Nintendo Switch. And people are like, this is not relatable because so many people can't afford to hire a nanny. Okay, I understand that. Like, that's like a well-known fact. Lots of people can't afford a nanny. I don't even think we would like pay that much money to have one. So I can't make a joke about it. Like, I don't understand. And then what was the second video? No. It was my post about things that make me ragey. And it was like, these are all valid things. And I think it's very relatable. And like the rage is generalized across moms just based on the comments and the popularity of that post. Like trying to get your child's snow pants and like winter boots on, and they're like standing there flailing around, like holding onto your head, or like even worse, hanging onto your neck, like rage. So I gave examples of little things like that, like random situations that never in my life before having children, I would be like, oh, you know what? When I have my child, I bet you these things are going to make me fucking want to punch a hole in a wall. Like, no, I never would have thought that these would make me so irritated. But I think, especially over the holidays, like not being as able to like think your own thoughts, like go to the bathroom in peace, like have a decent shower. Like it's all the things that stay-at-home moms with little kids, deal with and go through every single day. Like I got a taste of that again over the holidays because my husband works. He's a physician. It's not like he gets time off. Like, so it like just like brought back all those things. And then you're more easily triggered because you're dealing with these things all the time. And like, I'll go back to my example with the patience bucket. It's like you have a bucket full of all these little like pebbles of patience, and then it just like slowly getting taken out of the bucket until you have no fucking patience left. And now the most ridiculous things just make you like lose your mind. I have an episode on rage coming up in a couple weeks. It's so good. And I literally, like, my eyes were opened to so many just like different ways to think about like why I'm this irritated. She like really opened my eyes to that, and it was just like really, it was a great conversation. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, I put out this list of things that make me irrationally or rationally, depending who you're talking to, ragey. And it was like these big dramatic like thoughts about how, some kids out there can't even eat. And, we should be grateful that our children can refuse what we're putting on the plate. And I was like, holy fuck, like that turned dark real quick. Like we all understand the world that we're living in. We can't like individually be relatable and speak to every single issue. And like on my platforms, I do not do that. Like I see other creators just like trying to address every single thing and like be perfect and like put out these perfect messages on like specific days. And like, I just can't keep up with that stuff. And it's not that I don't care. It's not that in my real life, I'm not having private conversations with my husband or my mom about these different like big issues that are going on in the world. It's just, I'm not a news platform. People should not be looking to people like myself to give these big, profound, like, speeches or like thoughts on all these like really fucking complicated issues that are going on in the world. At the end of the day, like the content that I put out and what I speak to are based on my experiences. Like I'm a person also living in the world, and I choose to make light of certain things that I find difficult. And if somebody else is going through something 10 times more difficult, like that is also valid, but it doesn't mean that I can't talk about, my son ripping my hair out of my head as I'm trying to put his winter boots on and how that makes me upset. Like, anyways, so like the past few days I've just been putting out content and I'm reading these comments and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, first of all, who says like everybody online has to be relatable to every single person? It's like a crime to not be relatable to someone. Like, okay, if I'm not relatable, then move on, like just scroll. Also, if I'm like scrolling social media and I see something that makes me feel like, oh, like that's, I didn't like that, I usually will acknowledge that it's something to do with myself. It's like, oh, I'm triggered by that because of XYZ. Perfect example. I don't know if you guys follow Bethany Ciotola. I love her. Like, I love her account. I love watching her TikToks, her reels, her stories. She is very different from from me. How do you say that properly? Anyways, like she wears long flowy dresses and like she's gorgeous and she always looks gorgeous, like without makeup, and she's just like very whimsical, and she talks about like real life issues, which I also love. But she also has this very like romantic, like lovey-dovey relationship with her husband. And it's not to say that they maybe don't have, common issues that all couples have. It's just they go on like date nights and like they're very like cute and like romantic, and I love that. But sometimes when I see, like, full disclosure, sometimes I see one of her TikToks or something and it makes me feel bad because I don't right now have that with my husband. I'm not like, oh, what is she like? This is not relatable. Like, parents today, like, we don't have time to be this like lovey-dovey and like go on date nights with their husband. Like, I'm not thinking that. In my mind, I'm like, like I aspire to have the relationship that they have and to plan date nights and to like, I would like to work towards that. I'm not like shitting. I like, it's not relatable to me right now, but I appreciate it. And I would one day like to do that and go on date nights in New York City. Maybe that won't happen, but I'll take Toronto. So yeah, it's like when I feel like, oh, that makes me feel bad about myself, it's a me problem. Like, that's a fucking me problem. It has nothing to do with the creator for the most part that I'm consuming their content. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. What time are we at? Oh my God, it's already 28 minutes. Okay, well, I'm just going to go because I want to give myself time to read. I'm starting Jay Shetty's book. Oh my God, this is another thing. Like, guys, I can't. I'm starting his book, Think Like a Monk. I pre-ordered his other book. It's something about love. And I also bought a singular ticket. I'm going by my fucking self to his, I don't even know what you want to call it, show thing in Toronto that he's doing. I enjoy Jay Shetty. I enjoy his message. I like the way he speaks. I like the tone of his voice. Like, I get value out of his content. Okay. Do I go and buy his courses and like life coaching things? No, I don't really. I think that stuff is dumb. But I appreciate like his messaging. I love his content, his podcast. So like I can see both sides. Anyways, so many people are like, oh my God, I posted about his books on my stories and people are like, oh my God, he's a fraud. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, because he doesn't live like a monk anymore. And like a lot of his content is based on like things that he learned as he was living as a monk for 3 years. But now he like does his hair with gel and like, that's terrible. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care. Like, I like his content. I want to read his book. End of story. Like, why do we always like look for ways to like tear people down or be like, oh, like this guy's fake, or like, I don't understand. It's like, I should have seen it coming. But yeah, like, I watched this like whole YouTube video that someone sent me that's like, Jay Shetty is a fraud. And I was like, really? Like this, like, who cares? So yeah, I'm going to go read his book now. So yay for me. I'll keep you posted on his book. I'm almost done Winter Stroll. I'm trying to like get through it because then I want to read Josh Peck's book, Happy People Are Annoying. So I'll keep you posted on all my book stuff. We just finished episode 2 of The White Lotus last night. It is an odd show, like the way it's filmed and like the music and like it's a little bit like dark, you know, like the way it's filmed. It's like, we're going to keep watching it. It's just, I find it really slow. Like I need like bing, bang, boom, boom. Like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm pretty sure I have like ADHD. So like for me to watch a reality show is like, there's stuff going on constantly and it's like clip to clip to clip. Like this is like, you know, it'll be a slow ass conversation on the beach for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, like, let's go. Like something happened. But we're going to keep watching it, and I'll keep you posted on how that goes. I'm still working on the morning show. I kind of lost interest a little bit in the second season, but I am going to continue with that show as well. So anywho, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Go rate and review and subscribe and all those things, and send this to your friend, you know, because they could use the mom room in their life, especially if they're a mom. All right. Thanks so much. And I hope, oh my God, I hope your children sleep tonight and they don't leave their room. Okay? All right. Bye.